Hopefully this is better. Welcome back. Las Aslan Natives Podcast. LA Natives Podcast. I don't know, Zero. It's just like we got some powerful energy today, man. And hopefully the audio is 100%, right, Zero?
What's the last thing you guys heard?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to start over again. But no, look, the thing is, Richie, I was explaining how brilliant you are in terms of an artist and a designer, you know, and just being a human, right? When you meet people, being 48 years old, and you meet young individuals, I could imagine what someone who was older said about me when I was your age and, you know, we're interacting. Like, wow, because I've had a lot of people from the Chicano movement time, like the era of the Chicano movement time, even though they had their pedos, said, man, I like what you're doing with El Vuh. Like, there's no politics in it. It's just about what we used to be like, right? What we used to be about and that journey to find it. That's what I feel with you, bro. Like, in a humble, peaceful, yet very rebellious.
Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah.
Very rebellious, bro. Like, it's a rebellious that's like based on like art. Kind of like Banksy and Basquiat. That type of approach. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do something different. Like, I'm going to make this shirt that just says, make a point. Like, when you say make make America indigenous again, you're asking people to look at 500 years of rape, 500 years of treaties being broken, 500 years of abuse. When you make that simple black shirt with white font, that's what happened. That's what happened when I saw it and I wore it. That's what I'm saying. When people ask me, "Oh, what do you mean making it?" Well, I'm asking you to look at your 500 years of history.
You know?
Yeah.
It's all about educational, make you think, and for indigenous people, pride, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Well, because we have to take pride surviving multiple lifetimes of abuse and just being basically dismissed when you're the majority in the areas of your indigenous, you know, like there's a reason why the west coast of America is mainly quote unquote Mexican. You know, these are our ancestral lands. It's not that we're overpopulating it. These are our ancestral lands. We're just been the victims of rape. And those children never really get the love or attention or recognition because they're like collateral damage, right? The soldier raped a 12-year-old girl, you know? She got pregnant. That's us. So when you make that statement, make America indigenous again, or you start using the number 1492 because 1492 automatically associates with Columbus, and then when you talk about Columbus, you're talking about the rape and murder and mayhem that they brought, right? Yeah. That's the brilliance behind your brand, in my opinion. That's for me. You know what I mean?
Yo, we got Richie from at Indigenous1492. Legendary merchandise. We got Zero of El Vuh. Yo, I want to thank everybody for letting us know that the audio is 100%.
So is everything cool?
Everything's good? Absolutely
we got thumbs
right.
Up?
So,
all right, nice.
Before we start the show, I was planning on saying this before we got cut off with the audio being bad. But, you know, rest in peace to the 19 kids and the 2 adults that got killed in Texas. Yeah. I'm not, you know, all caught up with the news and what it's all about, but from what I know, there was a mass shooting. Do you know anything about this, Richie?
I heard it was like 21 now. Like,
right? Yeah, 21, 19 children and 2 adults. Like, oh, no. 21. Rest in peace. If anyone in the chat wants to chime in on that, feel free to do so.
I mean, it's heartbreaking to hear that families are suffering through that kind of a loss. You know, where you feel like you're sending your children off to someplace safe, and it turns out that it's not so safe. At least for the families that are claiming that, losing lives and all that stuff. I haven't done any research on it at all whatsoever.
Yeah, like,
Just
I don't-
All
I
I've,
don't
all I've
watch
heard is
news.
that people have died over there and their kids. And whenever there's that type of loss, it's felt because I'm walking in the street and I'm hearing people talk about it, right? Like how it's affecting them.
All day,
Yeah.
they're talking about
Yeah, like I'm buying something at the store and the guy in the store is talking to the guy is, everybody's talking about it.
everybody, like, oh my
And they
God.
should when it comes to the loss of life of a youth, right? Of somebody that was supposed to be in a place that was safe. But let's remember one thing, man. We're in America. We're in America, man.
What does that mean?
Fanaticism, right? We don't know what that kid's parents were like. We don't know how much neglect or abuse that person had. And I'm not defending him at all. I'm just saying that's what leads people to get these ideas and execute these plans.
Well, the mainstream media is in full effect, right, Zero? They're making all that money off those ads, man. It's covering this nonsense.
Right. So see through the lies. The lie is they're sensationalizing death. They're gonna write it out as much as they can, right? To impose it's almost like a news story that follows up with, but get your vaccine or get your COVID. It's like these stories are interconnected because they're manipulated by these entities. Right?
Yeah.
So they use it to their advantage is what I'm saying. And how can you not? It's a broad population, man. We live with millions of people on this in different cities, right? And so they just cherry pick off the most tragic story, right? No conspiracy. Is just, dude, tragic things happen. And how many other tragic things happen in different cities, but maybe it's in buttfuck Egypt where no one gives a shit, right? This one is, and it happened to take wind because social media got it. And then once social media got its wings on it, then it's like the George Floyd thing where everybody knows about what happens in seconds, So prayers to anyone who lost life there. Prayers to the indigenous communities of there. And I hope things get resolved and clear. And I hope we don't resort to anger. Because you know what? Some individual came to my shop and it's like, excuse me, guy, I'm just commenting on this thread of the 18 kids that died. And, we're going down that road. And it's like you could tell he was frustrated at whoever was saying whatever on a thread of social media.
I feel like that's what they want you to be all mad, like that's what media does and shit,
Okay.
So, like I ain't really trying to focus on that shit because how many times has they lied to us? So many times.
Yeah.
Like if they did die, RIP to them.
Yeah.
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 It's like
It's
Sandy Hook happened 10 years ago.
Right.
So it's like what happened to that school? They tore it down. They never saw dead bodies being pulled out. So it's like,
right. It's with
Yo, that's a fact. That's a fact, Richie.
So it's like, like I can't be focused on that because it's like, how many times have they lied to us, and it's like everybody's focused on that. Texas, what's going on? Golden State versus Dallas, Texas.
Have you ever-
Steve Kerr all crying, like.
Yeah, that to me was a lot. Like that to me, that to me was like
get an Oscar or what?
So I have an opinion about Steve
Systematic conditioning.
Kerr. I have
But rest in peace to the kids. I have to say that.
I have an opinion about Steve Kerr and his outburst and his outrage that how can we let this happen? Well, how do you let Epstein happen? How come you're not crying about all those fucking kids that've been fucking molested and raped by elite individuals? There's no outcry for that.
I don't really follow the laws or politics, but I heard like they're trying to vote on something with guns. So it's like, it's happening right now, I heard the NRA is like in Texas right now having a meeting and that's who Trump's supposed to be talking in it. So I don't know, look it up.
Well, of course,
Yo, it's perfect timing, right, Richie?
So it's like,
Well,
be planning that shit,
That's I guess when
They have technology where they make people up from photos of all of us,
right.
I could unlock my iPhone just with my face,
Right.
Yo,
They collect that shit, so they make photos out of people that don't even exist, and it's like, oh, you think it's a real person? So it's like,
Well, whether it is, whether it isn't,
but yeah,
it's not so much the tragedy. It is the tragedy of losing these children.
yeah.
But
But that's
they
like-
talk about like the details of what happened, like, oh, this kid was this, that, and the other, and you know, his mom, whatever, that and the other. And by the way, the commercial, ooh, take your fucking COVID shit.
Take your
And then go back to that intense story of like blah, blah, blah. And then they hit you with
in Ukraine.
Exactly. You know, oil prices are, you know, you got to fucking deal with that. And it's like,
you got no baby formula.
but what I'm trying to say is that they don't need to make up these stories in a broad, large population. They just find a hook, right? And okay, that's a real story.
But I feel like this one is affecting a lot of people. Like my friends are talking. You know, I'm on group chats with my best homies, and we're like
yeah.
Like it hit everybody. You know, like dude.
Well, because it was children.
Yeah.
But that's my point. That's my point. Is if Steve Kerr is gonna make this really big outcry over the death of these children, what about the abuse of hundreds and thousands, maybe 10,000s, maybe even hundreds of thousands of children that are being trafficked, have been exposed, have been put with people who actually did it. Yet you don't hear, how much did we hear for the Jocelyn, whatever fuck her name is?
I'm actually gonna go on YouTube and watch all these interviews because if I spot a crisis actor, then I know it's fishy.
Bro, I'm pretty sure. Look, I'm pretty sure you're gonna find one, bro.
Well, you are because
I can guarantee you, man, when Sandy Hook happened, man, like a lot of those interviews were fishy as fuck.
I'll get him right here. Okay.
But they're really just exploiting the tragedy, right? You got this person who's a actor saying that, you know, my cousin died there, or my brother died there, or whatever, and it's not true. But they're using and feeding off of people's sadness and interest in the loss of that children's
your energy.
life. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Y'all feeding from the, you know.
Yeah. Let's suck the energy and emotion out of the community.
That's
it's
y'all
simple.
right now.
But that's how they. It's kind of like, think of action movies. Think of dramas. These particular movies and dramas and action movies are written in a certain way to keep your attention, right, throughout the 2-hour period. So this is the same thing in real life, in real time, but they're exploiting all the pain. They're exploiting all the hurt that the families are going through. And that becomes the real life drama that we get distracted with. And now we have an opinion because these people have lost lives, and nobody should lose lives.
Absolutely, man. No. Yeah, Richie's spotting some good content right here, man, Richie. Some weird shit's going on in the media, man. As always.
Well, they're going to exploit it. They're going to exploit it as best as they can. It's a perfect movie that don't last a few hours. It lasts a few months.
But I have to admit, man, like,
or a few weeks
I could care less about what people think about the comments I'm about to say, because I'm completely neutral in everything. I'm not left, I'm not right. I don't follow politics. Fuck all that bullshit. But when Sandy Hook happened, man, there were some interviews that were mind-boggling.
The doctor?
Mind-boggling.
Y'all go look at that shit.
The father that was laughing.
It's like,
and then you also have to think that when you're talking about Rothschilds and when you're talking about elites like George Soros, they're playing both sides of the fence, right? Yeah. Maybe those actors are planted so that the conspiracy theorists go, oh, look there's that. And then there's this situation when it all just revolves around a general thing.
Something's happening in Texas, you know, like they always had the Walmart shooting a couple of years ago. El Paso.
Well, Texas
they had
is very
the fucking Astro World shit.
Well, from what I know,
so it's like, you know, it's always something happening in Texas. You know,
yeah, because they're very like fuck your government. You know,
and Texas is honestly
Texas is
shout out to Texas. I fucking love Texas music.
It's a weaponized state.
Yeah, you could walk around with your cuete on your side, right? You could just walk around with like a gun on the side of your
From what I know, from what I heard, you could be 18 years old, go into a gun shop and buy a gun without any background check, none of that nonsense.
Right. Yeah, that's what they're trying to take that away because.
But like me personally, like I don't feel like I should own a gun. Like I don't care about it, but like I feel like people should have the right to own the gun. Like I don't have a problem with that, you know, like, you know. But But it's like, I feel like, yeah, you know.
I'm all for
and I know what you're saying. Tell me if I'm wrong. You rather have people with guns who can get out control because we can't.
Whoever wants to own a gun,
let them own a gun. Yeah.
Me personally, like, I wouldn't own a gun. Like, you know,
I don't need
that's
it.
just me. You know, Richie talking. You know,
Yeah.
But like, if you want to buy a gun, go for it. You know, if you want to buy a gun, go for it. You know.
Yeah. No, and I feel the same way about people who live in Texas. If they want to carry guns, if
like we have strict law, like gun laws here in California, but we have so much crime still happening. You know, so it's like, what's going on? You know.
Well, this is what happens is though that when a country or a government goes and takes the guns away from the public, then the only people with guns are the government.
Or
that's
like the criminals, or like, you know, like
Well, it becomes even more so a crime when guns are outlawed in the public.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like you become extra, you know, dangerous. So they're gonna just come at you hard, right? With SWAT teams.
Do you think California is at that level yet, or not?
Well, it's already in a non-carrying state.
Well, look,
you have to
but
carry
still,
it in
people
the trunk.
still do, like, you know.
No, I get it.
Robbing
right here,
tourists, like people still.
Yo,
like,
right here in Los Angeles,
happening,
yeah.
know?
Just recently, from what I know and from what I see, man, it's active out here in LA.
Like just driving over here, like the drive is all crazy today. It's like, you know, just seeing the whole skyline downtown LA. Like you're here every day, bro. Like you see a lot of crazy shit.
See a lot of crazy shit, man.
Just parking outside is crazy because it's like, you know,
downtown.
It's downtown.
And,
you know,
and
it's active.
I'm all for self-defense. You know, if a dude runs up on you with a strap or a gun and he's gonna rob you, you know, chances are out here in LA, these dudes are so whacked out they'll just gun you down for no fucking reason.
See, like me, like how I said, like I don't care about that, like in my personal life, so I don't know like the laws of it. Like, what happens if you are carrying something and you get caught up with the cops? Like, you get arrested and shit? Or
big time. You
go
get arrested. You can get beat up. It depends. Like how. Look, the police officing, the way the police officers work in Los Angeles are very different. They have power in a sense, you know, because they're protected and they rarely get in trouble for doing. They pretty much can do whatever they want.
Shit.
You know, it's like that's the way it is. So then, if that's the way it is, then is it hopeless for us? Or do we need to change perspective?
Like,
right?
What do you mean?
Like change perspective. Change perspective about what's happening to us. Right?
Like what do you mean?
Like, instead of it being oppressive, be the person that refused to resist through lifetimes and facing the challenge of what's being thrown at you. That's changing perspective, right? In other words, I'm not upset. The challenge is on me to avoid. Because we are the ones hunting the animal, not the ones being hunted.
So you're talking like individually or like as a community?
Individually, it starts individually.
Like
it starts.
You can't change the world without changing yourself,
exactly,
type shit.
Exactly. And here's the second part: the community. You can't change the world with people who have different visions than you, and you're in the same community.
So what is community in that sense?
It's
like,
having your own opinion, like you. Like I like the way you design clothes. I like your opinion. I don't agree with everything you do and everything you say. I don't.
Exactly.
But I love you. I love your humility. I could see beyond my own personal importance or agenda towards you. But that's been practicing of 15 years of walking in the Toltec understanding, you know, walking in the 4 agreements, understanding the 5th agreement, and applying the dream state understanding that the Toltecas understood. So that means that I remain sovereign, but I'm so humble, I'm so honest that you want to be with me. You want to go to my shop and kick it and talk for a while, or come to my podcast and spend an hour with me, because you know that I'm not lying to you.
That's why I like, when it comes to community, like this wisdom is like dope, but like, what is community nowadays, like in a sense. So that's why it's just been like I stepped away from
Well,
everything.
here's what community isn't.
Yeah.
Here's what community isn't. Community isn't agreeing with individuals just because one person has more influence on the entire group. You know what I mean? Like where one person has influence on the entire group and then calls it sovereign is not really sovereign.
I feel like that's what like everybody's just trying to do. So it's like, man.
Because we have a lot of people. Well, we.
In that sense,
No, I get what you're saying. I know
like,
in the sense of
like I'd rather find a different community in the sense like how I was talking about like finding ceremony, like
yes,
it's just like instead of community for everybody, like
well, that's a community. That's a community. Now, if we talk about like community in my theory, in my understanding of studying our culture for so long, for me, communities meant 20 families working together to work on the surrounding area upon which they lived, right? And so that those 20 families created a circle that made an outreach of where you lived. So then when another person wanted to join that community and it was the 21st family, this is just my theory, bro. No one taught me, I didn't sit down with Masatzin and he didn't break this down to me. I'm just, in the way I use their number systems, their sequences, and why they use 13, 20, 52. So when the 21st family would try to join, they would say, no, you need to start a new community, a new 20 families, but we are together, you see? And collectively, we make decisions. And then other families are like, well, I don't think that this should be, and this, and then they talk it out, and then they play the ball game, and then they do the fights, and they do whatever they need to do. But eventually,
but like
what I'm saying is concentrating it with families that are humble. You have to know that. Like I would fuck with you, Richie. I fuck with you because I know you're humble. There's no agenda with me. You know what I mean?
I got my love about y'all, like
Right. Like you want to be here, right?
That's why, trust. And I feel like the whole thing, how you just said it, the 20 families, and I feel like just being in like LA, we have our communities, and it's just it just made everything kind of whack in a way, So I've been stepped away from everything, but
because we're trying
to respect, I love you guys. That's why, it's cool,
And that. See, this proves my point, is that I'm not hounding you on the text or calling you on your phone or writing emails that make you feel bad. That's not my agenda, Rich. You are a brilliant artist.
And at the same time, I'm just going through life, too, as a person. I'm going through shit, So it's
which inspires your art because you want to change that dysfunction and chaos. And
that's why I like
Yeah.
I love when I'm at my lowest in a way, like in a weird way, cause at my lowest I create the greatness.
Well, you have when people are forced to look inside, they call it, at least for me. Okay, when I'm like, Jenny does this to me. Shout out Jenny. She's you're being dark and this and that and this and that, and then I have to look at myself. Right? That's where the 4 agreements come into play, where you can't lie to yourself. You can't lie to others. If you're not going to lie to others, then why are you going to lie to yourself? Right? And so you take those dark looks, and then it feels like, damn, it's out of control. And it's really you looking at your improvement and growth, because you no longer want to be in those rut or in that dysfunction. So you take an inner look in yourself, and we call it weak but it's not weak. It's the most vulnerable. It's your true self, And when you get to the point where you can look at your inner self and love your inner self, accept your inner self, understand that changing the perspective, right? Instead of being the hunted, you become the hunter, right? Instead of being the victim of the Native American Holocaust, I'm the survivor of the Native American Holocaust. And so I pass that wisdom, love, humility, and connection with Mama Tonantzin to everyone around there, everyone around me, because I emit the wisdom of my ancestors, which is math, frequencies, music, art. That's what we are about. That's why I love hanging out with you. That's why I invite you to the show.
Thank you.
And this is just a reminder on how toxic social media is, right, Zero?
Absolutely. They're distracting you. They're feeding off of your emotion. They're feeding off of your sadness. They're feeding off of your opinion against the other brother who maybe is of a different race, and you're going at it with him, going, yeah, and you're just... Okay, let's remember, Humboldt's men said that science and religion were one, right? It's the same thing. So then if I'm setting off emotional energy, right, a magnetic energy through the emotion through my phone, it's reaching my brother. And then he's on his phone, and it's reaching, and it's reaching, and it's reaching, and it's creating this echo chamber, right? The echo chamber that you discussed, right? And they're all just feeding off of it because it has your attention. When it has your attention, guess what gets in between? Oh, the Pfizer commercial. Oh, the fucking Jack in the Box commercial. Oh, the fucking Super Bowl. Oh, look at fucking the NBA. Look at fucking what's his name go off over there. And they're feeding off your interest and energy, and they're going, look at how interested they are. Let's talk about it. Somebody in the NBA, what motherfucking coach is going to stand up here and fucking say something about this shit? You, Steve Kerr, you get the fuck up there and say some shit. And he goes, yes, sir. Right? And he's feeding energy. Dude, my sister-in-law was showing it to Jenny, going, look at what Steve Kerr said. Look. And it's like, now,
And that's what I'm saying. Like
they're feeding you
like
off of you.
like my best
To
homies,
give you
you know,
commercials.
like I be going at it with them, you know, like, and it's just like, yeah.
But
And
look,
it gets those people. Like,
but use
alright,
the
you know.
science and the religion, right? Look, figure out the equation. The equation is your emotional. They're not feeding off of the emotion. They're feeding off your attention to the phone, right? And then what's on the side of that bar? An advertisement. Or when you're scrolling, oh shit, take your COVID-19 and fucking this. And you know, it's a bombardment of ads using algorithms, feeding off of your emotional response to tragedy.
And what a great combination right now to get everyone's attention. It's this school shooting massacre. It's You Have to Love Ukraine. And then it's Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Right. Those are the
Because
main
every
things.
time I go home, Richie,
It's like-
my lady, she's constantly watching this fucking court case. And I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ, turn that off.
yeah. And it's funny that, like, you know, they could show you everything about that, but like what's her name? The
Jocelyn Maxwell.
Ghislaine, whatever.
Yeah,
the fuck
yeah.
her, you know, they
Elaine
don't-
Maxwell?
Yeah, you know, whatever the fuck
Whatever,
her name
have-
is.
Or the
Ghislaine
Epstein.
Maxwell,
like-
Ghislaine, whatever the fuck her name is, you know.
Right. And
They
you know
keep
what's
that shit hush hush, you know.
Hush, hush.
But it's the same people, you know. We'll give them this shit, you know. It's entertaining, but this shit's serious, you know. Let's keep it hush hush.
right, like Johnny Depp.
I only
and,
found one dude covering the whole Elaine Maxwell situation, and I guess he got shadow banned, or he was just...
Right. It's
It's-
like they keep that shit hush
that
hush.
right there really affects me because
That's the same people that's giving you these shootings, you know, like
Yeah.
this, you know. So it's like it's the same people
Right.
getting that energy off you, you know.
right, and because they're look the type of energy. So now we were discussing about what type of energy this mass shooting is going to create in the community, right, and or in the public, in the masses. Do you think the same energy would be if they covered the gasoline or whatever the fuck her name is?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
The pedo people,
Ghislaine.
the pedo people. Do you think the same energy would be there? No, because it would try to be into who was going to that island, and the energy would be focused on who and what are the facts of that.
Dude, the facts are there. No one gives a fuck, you know.
But I'm saying though, if they were covering it just like they were covering this mass shooting,
Yeah.
right? Like okay,
That's why those people run this shit. So it's like you gonna put
Well,
that
of
shit
course.
out there? You know?
A good point, Richie. So
that's
you
why
do
people are still feeding into.
you do
this
the
shit,
extra
and it's
research. You do the extra research that some people don't know that you know that BlackRock owns most of the media, which are hedge funds that control trillions of dollars of investments, and those investments break down into multimedia groups, and that's how 7 corporations own all of the media outlets. No one's denying that fact. That the media is controlled by these rich, families that own lots of investment in these companies. Now, what they trip on is the independent reporter, right? Someone like you, for instance, who does the internet searches, who finds the articles, who puts the puzzle together, and then puts its little 3-minute video together or 1-minute video that goes on TikTok that sparks they can't do anything about that, right? That's what they call fake news, is a person's independent research who's not getting paid for it, right? He doesn't work for CNN. He doesn't work for these big conglomerate media, because every time you turn in a story as an independent reporter or anything like that, and it has any remote thing to do with anybody who is in a rich family or comes from, any kind of, like the DuPonts, right? Like, remember when that dude DuPont killed somebody and he got off with the judge telling the audience that it would be bad for him if he went to jail, that it would be too traumatizing for him, so we're just going to let him go, right? He's too rich to go to jail, is what she was saying. DuPont,
like the coals and shit. Like,
DuPont is like the paint people. They make paints, like house paints and chemicals and all kinds of other things. They're really, really rich. They're a DuPont family. Anyways, they're like the Fords.
Yeah,
and
they're like the Fords and like the.
Yeah, like the Rockefellers,
Budweiser people,
the Bushes,
like,
yeah. The DuPonts are those.
Wealthy white people and shit.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyways, these individuals,
American dream.
These individuals are never going to tell you the truth, but that doesn't mean that the truth can't come out. Just because they don't want to tell you the truth, just because they do everything they can to distract you from the truth, you can't help but the truth coming out. You can't scrub. That's why, they did it for a little while with TV, but then some brave ass reporter would go do a documentary and give it to somebody, and somebody would be brave enough to play it on TV or on public access TV. So the truth still gets to be told. We know that these individuals in high places, who they call politicians, do very perverse things in their off time. Perverse things meaning hurt children, right? Traffic children, traffic bodies.
But I feel like no one really knows or cares about it, or they're not aware of it, or I don't know what the fuck's going on,
Well, you have to first
Tell
accept.
people, and it's like,
You have to first
fuck, you're
accept that
tripping
it's
out,
happening.
man.
Yeah,
You're a
exactly.
Conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, exactly. They don't accept that it's happening. They go like they read the history books and they read the news and they read the things and they believe everything they're reading. But that's not the truth. The truth is different from something that can be written down on paper.
It's like, I feel like the people, we want this, but they're the ones causing all of this to happen, and it's like, it's like.
Well, here's the difference
Like
between.
wake up type shit.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And here's my opinion on it. My opinion is that people say a lot of things, but do very little things. Do you understand?
Yeah, but
People who do and say what they do, then there's progress. Then there's success. Then there's, kind of like, great example, Black Panthers. They said they were going to do something and they did it.
Yeah.
Right? They said they were going to get free lunches in Oakland, and they did it. That is more than going, we should give free lunches out. And they fucking have enough money to give us free lunches, and they start talking and 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 never
like,
do
all that
shit.
Like, yeah, it starts out dope, humble, you know, it's all grassroots, whatever the fuck, but then it gets infiltrated type shit. So it's like, you know,
That's
why it goes down in history, and that's why we learn about it and shit.
But you know, the
You
people,
start digging into that shit, it's like, man,
the
start
people,
finding out a lot of people are CIA type shit, you know.
well, yeah, because they exploited the traumas that these leaders had. Some of them had addiction to drugs. Some of them had, you know, womanizing issues. You know, they weren't healed people. They were just people that wanted change, right? They wanted it not to be so violent towards their community. Didn't mean they were going to go clean up and become Jesus Christ and start walking the red path of righteousness. And that's not what happened. And so it was easy to go at them and destroy their things, because they just go, hey, well, you know, you're into drugs, try this one. And they give him heroin, and boom, he's hooked on heroin now. And
That's why, like, in a way, like I'm done with community, because there's always going to be infiltrators type shit. That's like, we have something going.
what are you defining as community, though?
Like community, like exactly how you said, like we might not have the same views, but we still get along. You know,
Right.
like we could all
Just to
come
get along.
up, chill, you know, whatever, you know.
Right.
But everybody's on their own shit, so it's like makes me like, yeah, fuck.
And that's what a community should be. There should be differences, because if it's not, everyone's on the same. And that's what community should be, because if everyone's on the super same page, it turns into a cult.
Yes, you're avoiding that. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be an individual that's leading. The important thing about our ancestors and why they were leaders was because they never said they wanted to lead. They were just that dope. People wanted to follow them. People wanted to sit by them by the fire and hear what they had to say and hear their visions, their experiences with ceremonies. I'm talking about like Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse.
Yeah, it's like,
you know?
because we don't have that shit now, right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think we could. It's just that we
Like some
And
have
people
it,
got
you
it
know?
twisted, because there's a lot of people that are within the community, from my experience, that don't want diversity at all.
What does that mean?
Like, it just
they want them to be. They want to be followed, not.
absolutely.
They don't want to be like. They don't want to be humble about it because they have the answers. You know what I mean?
Nobody has the answer.
Kind of like, I guess the best example recently was, picture somebody that says he is leading this movement but has no leadership skills, bad habits. Same thing like the Black Panthers, right? Easy to infiltrate.
It's caught up with shit.
Yeah. and
No more
Are we
deals.
talking about Iron Jacket?
No. Just a loose general reference to somebody who wants to create a movement with people's emotions and offer very little leadership other than I'm the leader, right? Other than I have all the answers. That's not why these people were so good. These people were good because they recognized the individual's contribution to the 20 families. You know what I mean? Picking the right family to be a part of the 20 families is a very important job, because you got to rely on them and they have to rely on you to at least agree when you're building something, not to argue with you, you know, because we all have the same vision.
So I feel like whatever the 20 families out here, at least in LA, that's all I can speak about, because
Yeah, of course.
that's us, you know,
Yeah, you don't
that's
live-
us.
yeah,
We don't live nowhere else, you know?
Yeah.
That's what makes it in LA, because no one's getting along, and it's like, yeah.
No one's ever gotten along in these movements, in my opinion.
And that shit's whack, because, like, we should all just get along. Like, fuck it, you think that way, cool. You think that way, cool. You think that way, cool.
And agree. This is why
everyone's
we're...
like, nah, I'm not going to be politically correct and shit.
To add on that situation... To add on that conversation, this is why June 25th is so important, right, Zero?
What's that? The show, the second anniversary.
To me, the first one that we did brought together so many different opinions, but they're collectively for the general cause, right? Yeah. That's how the 20 families work, is that we are tighter, we learn. Look, what makes the 20 families strong is getting into fights, learning to work your way through that difference, and continuing to be family. And I get what you. I'm not saying that's where that's where we are as a community, because I still have issues with. I don't want to say issues. I feel the same way you do with my own crew. Personal. Sometimes
that's why, and
and it's personal. It's more personal. I can tell you right now.
That's why I see it within our generation, then I see it with your generation
Absolutely.
too, and so it's like, you know, like I never tell you like, hey man, what's going on, you know, but like, you know, I sense it, I feel it too, it's like, you know, so it's like, man, you know, everybody needs healing in this fucking community.
Absolutely.
June 25th at the Catch One, doors open at 9.
Yeah,
we're bringing out Dakota Bear, Zero of El Vuh is rocking it, Nug Life, plus many more.
Absolutely, that's the family gathering. So if you have the same, perspective as me and Richie in terms of having no beef with anyone and being around people that maybe you disagree with for that night, for that moment in time, in the respect of our ancestors, we all get along, because that's the commemoration of Little Bighorn. You know how hard it was to get all these tribes together? They had to let go of
beef.
All of them were beefing this and that, and everyone had to come together and forget that for that one moment, you know. And that was the power of these great leaders who were never asked to lead, who never claimed to lead, but had the wisdom and power to do it because of their actions, because of what they did, right, and how they lived, and how they came across to their community. You know, we all want to live in a place where, you know, if we focus on art and let art be the topic instead of politics or personal, emotional trauma.
I feel like most of them people are just stuck on that emotional trauma.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Like they just follow whatever the energy is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man.
Like, love Ukraine, right?
I can't hear you, bro.
Like, love Ukraine, right? Like, you have to love Ukraine. Everyone has their differences. Everyone has a certain feeling about it. But, like, what I noticed, it was like the Ukraine flag colors everywhere. I was just like, yo.
The Rams won the Super Bowl. I'm rocking the Rams. I read this because, like, 16 is my favorite number. Like, second favorite number. 9 is my favorite number.
Joe Biden gives Ukraine, what, 50 or $100 billion to basically kill Russians. You know?
Well, like I was telling you, like, earlier off air, like I was telling Armando, we were having a conversation about, like, how Biden's giving so much money to these, you know, Ukrainians or whatever.
Yeah, shit's so fucked up out here.
It's because we have, like, and here it is, Richard, when it comes to perspective, because we think of, okay, it's Joe Biden, it's the United States government, and look at how official they are. Look at, they wear suits and they have nice cars when they pull up to these really big fancy houses, and they go and the camera's there with a nice table with silverware, and they feel like, oh, these people are so thinking of us in the community. They're thinking of us as the population, and they're not. They're gangsters. They're getting up there and they're going, what do you need? All right, just don't tell them I gave it to you. And, oh, shit, they got out. Oh, wow, fuck it. But they're gangsters. They're gangsters. Gangs will give another gang resources to fight another rival gang. Think of it like that. Don't think of them as politicians that have the community's interest at heart, or the population's interest at heart. These are people who have large amounts of money, who have friends And collateral damage is the mass population.
Yo, I love that post, Richie, of Joe Biden just,
Dude, that
Dolling out the money.
shit got eliminated, Like
oh,
they took
man,
it off.
they took it down.
I got like 2 posts removed just because I was talking shit about Ukraine.
That's what they don't want you to
That's
do.
what they don't want you to do. That shit was funny, but yeah.
I already know it. And you are shadow banned. I could admit you are shadow banned. That page is so raw and uncut. They have no option but to shadow ban it.
I give up on it. I'll just post every now and then, whatever,
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a great
Don't
metaphor.
I think you're a great artist when it comes to that, though, dude. You pick the right post, or I don't know if you make the memes. Do you make the memes?
Nah,
You just pull them off of other.
It's a collection of shit.
Yeah, I mean, you pick the right. It's not easy to pick and find memes that are relevant to your message, and your page just seems to be. Whenever you look at Richie's post, they're just like the Red Shoe Club. It's like, whoa, what the fuck? What is that? And then you look at it, oh fuck, that's that. And he'll always lead you down a road that especially on his IG page, down, something beyond the norm of the. You know what I mean? Like when you go Knights Templar, and then you're like, Richie goes, well, what about this?
They're not ready for that.
I have to
shit,
admit, though, as a fan, I'm always looking forward to what you're posting next, bro. I don't know if you've heard that from others, but I'm one of your devoted fans, bro.
I get a lot of people like, oh, I haven't seen you post in a while. Like,
absolutely.
I be posting every now and then, I guess I'm shadow banned,
Yeah, of course they're gonna shadow ban you. You're coming up with topics that are. That's another thing, though. Let's clarify. Instagram is a private organization, business for profit, so it's not gonna be highlighting individuals of the nature that you are. Right. That doesn't mean, though, that you don't find ways to make that happen. Still, that's what I talk about. Changing the perspective, and instead of
I always think shit dies out, MySpace, it died out, Like what happens when Instagram dies out?
It's already dying out.
I feel like I'm at the stage where I'm not gonna get a TikTok or nothing
TikTok's the next thing.
But it's I don't have one. I don't see it.
You know what's cool about TikTok? Remember MySpace?
I feel like I'm at the age where I'm done with that shit.
Well, you're probably at a spiritual state right now where you're looking inward and you're looking at that interconnection with your experience in life. And TikTok is cool because it reminds me of MySpace in terms of the algorithm.
MySpace was a shit,
Yeah.
You could put your own songs and shit,
and it would get viral through other people's posts,
I'm feeling like this today. That shit was dope, dude.
People were becoming super ultra famous on it because the algorithm was out of control. They didn't have a controlled algorithm. So whatever people were sharing, that's what would share. And on a feed of hundreds and thousands of people, they could see your posts if they kept scrolling. TikTok is in the same way when it's topical. In other words, if you start looking at videos that are about, Illuminati or conspiracy or Joe Biden's bullshit and this and that,
it catches you because
it'll
it's fast.
feed you. It'll feed you just that.
Hooked and
But
shit,
from what I know, TikTok is owned by the Chinese.
Yeah, they're using it as a tool against us. Yeah,
Do you have a TikTok?
The Chinese are always a step ahead, right?
Do you have a TikTok?
No, unfortunately, you know what?
You don't see yourself in that shit.
We are looking into a team to run our TikTok, to be honest with you, because we are in need of it. A lot of people tell us that we should have one. And then,
But what does that mean? Looking for
just someone part of the youth.
Think of it like this, Rich. Think of it like your 26,000 followers. Think of it like this. It's super hard to. And now, don't get me wrong. Let me say this very carefully. It's a little bit more difficult to get shadow banned
on TikTok.
Not saying that they won't remove you. Not saying they won't take your page off. But
I heard people get shadow banned a lot though on this shit.
Well, what'll happen is if the algorithm picks up the if you're very blatant about certain things like COVID-19 shot is blah blah blah, they'll take that down. Very blatant, easy things. But there are also ways where people are going, look, I'm gonna use TikTok and it's gonna be the captions and I'm gonna say that I'm unvaccinated and then the caption says vaccinated. Right? So people are pointing out with and then the algorithm's picking it up and sharing it with other TikTok people. So there's no way to control. It's a in my opinion, a little easy way to sucker punch someone and get it, because it won't pick it up until like millions of people have seen it. You know, my son put a post on TikTok and it got 4 million views. But he's not like a famous person or anything like that. It's just that the algorithm, the algorithm picked up his post and he got 4 million views. That's the strategic outlook that we need to do. See, the answer isn't to resist. The answer is to be creative. If they're shadow banning you on a platform, what is your creativity to not let them find you? Yeah. Right? What are you going to do creatively for them not to find? Like me, when I'm going to release Global Pandemic, I'm not going to write Global Pandemic like they write it in the news. I'm going to write it P-A-N, pan, right? Pan national, right? Damn, D-A-M-M-M, I-K-K-K, pandemic, right? Pan national rules, damning the poor and the sick. How is that algorithm going to pick that up? That's my creativity, right? Fighting the supposed algorithm there was one time when we had in the studio, there was a computer problem. And my friend was fucking there, and he was on the internet, and he was fucking mad, and he was typing away, and then he fucking got up, and he fucking looked at the computer, and goes, I'm the human. You're the computer. I'm the fucking human. You're not going to fucking defeat me. And
he busted a Steve Kerr.
And he fucking fixed the computer. He fixed it. Yeah. That's when I knew that humans or I don't even want to call them human because we know what the meaning of human is. We're alive. We're life. And life defeated the computer in that day, right?
For now.
For now.
For now, everybody.
Yeah.
That shit's coming.
No. I think our creativity is what the dark side or bad or I don't even say bad. I always like to correct myself. Just
yeah, bro. I gotta pee.
Again, damn,
yeah, bro. Yeah. This conversation is dope, but I gotta piss.
Handle.
That shit's far too. So I'll be back. I'll run to the bathroom.
Okay, Richie's cool.
No, man. But what I mean about not being able to incorporate TikTok with my schedule, I just think it's part of the youth. I need someone young to run it.
Well, that would be smart to have people that are used to using that platform in that regard because they have their creativity in TikTok is a little different. You
right.
How when you got really good at blowing up the page for Underground Hip Hop Blog, you posted in a certain way. You wrote things in a certain way. It's almost like IG became Facebook now.
Right.
Remember when Facebook...
so many people say Facebook is dead.
Right.
Which in reality it is if you don't have a core niche audience.
Right.
Like for us, Underground Hip Hop Blog and the team that's behind it, we serve our community well. So we post content, pictures, events, etc. that they want to watch and they want to see. So just recently, we just uploaded a video on Facebook 2 days ago. It's already at 3 million views.
Yeah, there you go. But you got to understand that Facebook is an international thing now. It's no longer the U.S. that dominates Facebook. It's more like people from third world countries, people whose coding or internet isn't as fast, because to use TikTok and to use the other platforms, I think you have to be in a Wi-Fi area where it's strong.
Yeah.
And people in third world countries barely, so maybe the upload to the Facebook universe is a little quicker.
Yo, and if anyone watching, if you guys have a TikTok, add your TikTok to the comments area, because I think in the next week, LA Natives podcast, we're about to launch our TikTok.
Yeah.
And I want to follow all you guys. If that's a
Absolutely.
thing on
Yeah.
TikTok, because I've never used it before. Can you follow each other?
I have TikTok, but I do not look at messages. I don't look at followers. I just kind of look at the algorithm, and I like, what I look at and what it sends me. And, I find good things to talk about on the podcast and have my opinion on certain things from there. But I think it's relevant, and you should always be on the newest platform. And I think TikTok is going to take out IG. It's already taking it out. Because you go from TikTok to IG. And now the followers that you can accumulate on IG, people on TikTok, like here's the difference.
People take IG way too serious, man. I run a pretty influential Instagram page. And is it just me, or we constantly get bombarded with people who are like literally demanding to get promo? It's like they wake up in the morning and they look at our pages and are like, yo, I want to spend all day just to get on that. I'm like, yo, it's just social media itself. But Instagram is so polarized right now.
Well, Instagram is in the phases of transitioning as the new Facebook, right? Because TikTok algorithm is kicking its ass, right? Because it's more funner for children it went from kids, 10-year-olds, doing dances to other people's song to
Adults doing dances.
Adults, and now they could put little pieces of video, and now you can make your vacation video, and now you can make your conspiracy video, and now you could do your cooking thing, and and the algorithm picks it up and it just fucking blows up, right? So whatever you used to get on Instagram, like when you go, oh, I have 20,000 followers on Instagram, well on TikTok you're like, well, that algorithm picked my shit up.
Well, look,
now I have 100,000.
I recently heard a story that there was an artist that went viral on TikTok. He's not necessarily a worldwide well-recognized artist, but he has a single and a song, he or she, that's called ABCDEFU. Right? He's no one big. I don't know if you heard that.
Radio, yeah.
Okay, it's all over the radio now, right?
Yeah.
So it was a guy or a girl, I don't know who the artist is, that just has this one single. He's not a recording artist at all. It's just the song's called ABCDEFU. It sounds like a girl, right?
Yeah.
So I guess a group of people started using it in dance videos, and then it went viral. Now it has like over 1 billion views, and it made a career for a group or an artist that didn't necessarily have a career on Facebook or Instagram, but on TikTok it worked.
Because it's an algorithm.
Like I heard, like on TikTok, there's like a robot chick that's not even a real person. She's just like a robot. Or like, I don't know if it's Instagram, but like she be posting shit, but it's just a robot,
Like AI.
And people follow it. Yeah, it's AI and shit.
Oh my god.
Like a bot.
Yeah, like she acts like she's a real person type shit, and people be like, yeah.
Look, here's my opinion about TikTok and Instagram and all
Whatever
that
happened to Snapchat?
Whatever happened to buying concert tickets and showing up in line and really actually doing it? Nowadays.
Bro, everything's gonna go to the metaverse now.
Well, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing, but I just don't see people buying into wearing uncomfortable things for large periods of time.
Bro, everybody's buying into this shooting. They're gonna buy into the metaverse type shit, bro.
Maybe. But it's not going to be in my opinion, it's not going to be as big as they're saying it to be.
Like, they're gonna make it like, if you don't have the metaverse, like, you ain't shit, Like, oh, you don't know what's going on in the metaverse, like, it's gonna make you want to. Oh, I need to see what's going on in the metaverse.
Well, look, this is the way I see it.
Well, there's a reason why Facebook changed the name to Meta, right?
Well, this is the way I see it.
And you see all the crypto everywhere and shit. Cryptoarena.com and shit, whatever.
Remember
the FTX Center.
This is what I think
all over the jerseys, Philadelphia.
This is what I think of the metaverse. The metaverse is like, remember the game The Sims? There was a game that you could download, and it was like an avatar, and I guess you could chat with other people, and it goes into a room, and it goes into it. That's what the metaverse is. They're building it off that idea, right? Except it's not this 8-bit character now. Now it's getting fancier.
Now you're in that bitch, like
right, like you're like a toy, or that has that animated look, right? And all you're really doing is you're being online, put into a space where everybody's chatting at the same time, kind of like a conference call.
Yo, did anyone have a PlayStation 3? I think they had something similar to that. Where you would create an avatar and you would literally walk around in a virtual city.
Yeah.
And talk to another avatar walking by you, and it's like some
And
other
he
kid.
lived, yeah,
It's another kid online on his couch walking in the same.
It was like Nintendo Wii shit too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So that's all it is. And it's interesting to talk to people in a cartoon place.
Like, what do you think? Like amusement parks, they're like going cashless and shit. You can't you have to spend
in the metaverse, you're saying?
No. Like,
do you know that people
you go
live?
to Knott's Berry Farm.
Do you know that people live in the metaverse?
Well, yeah, you could buy land and shit.
Right. Well, you could buy an apartment.
Right now, you could buy land and it's cheap. It's like $3,000. That's cheap, everybody. $3,000.
$3,000. Anyway,
imagine that.
I heard of a NFT project that was building a thing revolving around this NFT, and it was a metaverse apartment complex. And I guess the idea is people who own this particular NFT could buy apartment space, which all that means is that whenever these people go online, you're notified. And so you can enter the space where you're like, oh, I'm going to go see
you could work in the metaverse and actually get real money and shit.
Wow, I didn't know that.
People are actually working in that shit. And I don't know what the fuck they do, but they're getting paid.
They're virtually living there. But again, it's the Sims game, which was boring.
Because it's all NFTs and all the crypto and shit.
But there's only so much that
all
you're like.
Crypto's been going
it's
down
all adding up,
shit,
right? Yeah, it's all adding up.
Well, it's like at the end, they still control that shit. Like, they're the ones that create that shit. So it's like.
When it comes to the internet, it's like the ocean. Right? Because we don't know who's telling the truth. And there are some crazy, clever hackers.
Amusement parks, though, they're going cashless. So, what does that mean? I feel like that's the start of something,
Well, they're going to get rid of
for
cash.
someone like me,
You just mentioned Knott's Berry Farm. So if I go to Knott's Berry Farm,
you can't pay with cash. Ranging Waters is going to open. I don't know if it opened already. Cashless.
You're talking at the restaurants, at the
anywhere,
concessions, anywhere.
You want to buy a Snoopy at Knott's Berry Farm, has to be debit or with your phone and shit, So it's for someone like me, I stash cash, what does that mean in the future?
That means that it's not going to be.
The dollar's going to be going to shit now, or what?
Well, it's already going to
save
shit.
the trappers, right?
It's already.
Should I invest in gold?
It's already going to shit. I think what people forget is that their job is to distract you from the movement of the earth going through whatever we're going through. You know what I mean? So they're just gonna take credit for what's actually happening. Like if an earthquake happens and then all of a sudden people go, oh, you know what? It was the fucking Illuminati who did the earthquake over there, and you know what I mean? And then they go,
allegedly.
And then they go, yeah, it was us. And they take credit for it. It's easy to that's what you call manipulation, right? And this is where we go back to the conversation of sovereignty and connection. When you have a sovereign connection, a personal relationship, a personal communication with the earth, the elements. That means when you go, I'm sure you've done this many times, Richie, when you're on a hike and you go, I'm going to sit down right here. I'm just going to sit down right here and just know that I'm with this right here.
So, me, I'm scared. Huh? I'm scared right now because I'm about to do Vision Quest tomorrow. So I'm be in the mountains for 4 days.
Good.
And I'm scared at nighttime. How's that shit gonna go down?
Well,
I just gotta be in the same spot, for 4 days. No water, no food.
Yo, I congratulate you, Richie, for doing that, man. That takes a lot of heart.
It's It says Fraser Park. I don't know where that's at, but I heard there's bears and shit. Hey, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, you know.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I think that when you go up there, know that the connection with the earth and all those elements and all those spirits and all those, animals and insects, because you're not only going to see animals, you're going to see insects.
I'm like more scared at nighttime. Like, what's gonna happen at nighttime? You know?
So,
All those.
I heard stories from other brothers and sisters that have done that. And one time that he said one story was like, the homie was sitting in his circle. Like, you get put in a circle and you're not supposed to leave that circle.
I can't hear you.
I said, you get put in a circle, right? And then you can't leave the circle. And so he was sitting up. He was telling me the story. He was sitting up and he had a braid, right? And then all of a sudden he was like crashing out, sitting up, and then he felt his braid go up, right? And then start tugging. Right? And then he looked fucking back, and it was a fucking coyote who got the tip of his braid. It wasn't pulling it hard. It was just picking it up and like kind of nudging him, right? When he told me that story, it automatically reverted me to an understanding that we all can create with the earth and the elements and the animal kingdom, the insect kingdom, the bird kingdom, right? That's what I'm talking about, Richie. When you go up there, understand that you're connected to what you're going up there with, right?
That's it. Like, I've only fasted for one day, Like,
Yeah.
I've never done like 3-4 days, Like,
Right. This is going to take all your will.
Yeah.
And that's good. And you're smiling, man. No,
like,
I know
my heart wants it, Like, my soul wants
There
it, Like,
you go.
But right now it's like, all day at work I've been like this, and then my coworkers, what's wrong with you, Like, you don't even want to know.
Yeah. Well, you're going to challenge your spirit, and that challenge is but that's what I'm talking about, your own personal journey and connection with what we perceive as Mother Earth, as the animal, 4-legged, 2-legged, all those families. You're about to meet them. And you're about to go into that circle, right?
That's what they tell me. We gonna set up a circle full of tobaccos. I gotta go pick some fresh sage tomorrow, put it around.
Mm-hmm. And then don't be surprised if you see a hummingbird come straight to your face. You know who did Vision Quest? Eric. Eric, one time he was telling me a story about his Vision Quest where he was lying on his back in the circle. And then it was like, I guess like 12 o'clock or something, like midday. If I'm remembering the correct, shout out to Eric and, sharing the story. Hopefully he doesn't get mad at me for sharing it. But anyways, he was telling me.
Could you share this story?
Right? He's like, oh, dare you. No. What he said was that he was lying on his back, and then all of a sudden, boom, a hummingbird comes to his face. And that he was just looking at it, and the hummingbird was looking at him, and then boom, it took off. So these little precious little moments that you get with the animal energies, I think that's the quest, and out of all the chaos that we live in, and out of all the dysfunction and evil intention, intention to hurt others is what I'm calling it. That exists still. Our own personal connection with Mother Earth, and that's what the Hikuti taught me. It taught me to be patient with my own self and with my own journey with connecting to this great unknown. That's why they call it the great mystery, right? The great spirit. It doesn't really have a definition. It's just like, I remember going to the reservations and asking the elders, like, give me a solid, concrete creator. Like, what's the name? And it was always vague. It was always like the Great Spirit. It's always not very.
You Sundance before?
No, I haven't. I've been to the Sundance as a supporter.
All right.
So for people, we have a lot of people watching us live right now. So for people who are unfamiliar with the, is it called the Vision Quest? Can you go ahead and break it down to the viewers? What does that specify?
From my understanding, from my my brothers and sisters in circles, it's called umblecha, right? And that's when you go up to the mountain and you stay there for 4 days, and you don't eat for 4 days, and you don't drink water for 4 days. Now, some people run it different, and sometimes during the ceremony, someone will go and check on you, but you're supposed to be isolated in the wilderness or in a mountain or wherever. The elder will decide where you're going to be put, and it's a sacrament to lead up to Sundance.
So no water as well?
No
No
water.
water. So that's how it's gonna be. Like so I'd be sweating with my community, I guess you could call it. And it's gonna be 3 of us that are gonna go up there,
Nice.
And it's just gonna be, we're gonna go tomorrow. We go sweat 2 rounds, and then they're gonna take us to the mountain, and then they'll pick us up Sunday morning. And it's like, yeah, I'm just tripping out about nighttime, but no water, no food.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah.
When
No
I used the
blanket.
bathroom. They said I could take a sleeping bag. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take some blankets.
Yeah,
He said just bring 2 pairs of pants. Jacket.
You were a runner, right?
A runner. Like I like running. Yeah.
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 So you have the conditioning for that, I believe.
Yeah. I'm pretty skinny though, so I'm just tripping out. I'm tripping out more if I see like an animal. What the fuck am I gonna do? But they say, like, don't trip. Like, we'll give you a knife. We'll give you a little. What the fuck am I gonna do with the knife?
I think. Look, man, the animal kingdom is there to teach. And if you get to see animals,
I've had so many dope experiences in my life with animals.
Yeah. So keep those in mind.
Shout out to the coyotes. Shout out to the
keep
bears,
keep
shout out
that
to
in
the
mind.
rattlesnakes. Shout out to everything. Like, it's like I know.
Keep that in mind, because
I
I
was
think
just scared at nighttime. Like, I ain't gonna be able to see you. It's gonna be cold. Any little sounds, just like shit,
Yeah.
But that's what it's all about,
Yeah, it's challenging.
Because in the end, like, I want to be a Sundancer. Like,
There you go. See, it's calling you. This is all natural. I remember being young and going into the lodges and going, oh man, I want to be a Sundancer, and going and being all fired up, and then I want to pour water and I want to do this, and then something hit me in the lodge once, and it just said, just take your time and learn things.
Like, I feel like I was
One at a time.
I was on that path, and then fucking COVID hit, and then I ended up stopped studying with the people I used to start with, and then I started studying with these people, and I'm back on that path again.
Nice. Good. Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I haven't seen my sweat family in, over 4 years now, or 3 years. And it was because of COVID and all that. But, I remember my uncle telling me, the Sundance leader, the sweat lodge leader, and he said, sometimes we don't have it. For a long time, it wasn't in our lives at all. We didn't start sweating till the 70s again, or they let it happen. These umblechas, these vision quests weren't allowed, because it gets your spirit stronger, right? And that's what your quest is. Everybody's quest should be to make their spirit stronger in whichever way it is. Sometimes people could be a dedicated father, and it's like a vision quest, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. But I wish you luck on it, because you're going to need everything you have inside your spirit to accomplish it. But I think you have it,
I'm pretty sure.
Inca Rich.
Yeah, pretty sure.
You got to go deep.
Nah, this is my last podcast.
His last interview, hey, fuck.
I hope you don't pass out and they're just like, just leave them there.
Nah, you're going to be good, Rich. It's going to be cool. It's going to, because
you
you
said that, like, the other people's going to be kind of close. Like, I'll be able to hear them singing songs. And that's the thing. I don't even know songs, like.
Well, copy
I don't
them.
even got a drum or nothing.
I mean, the
like the other dude's gonna be all playing. I'm hearing it like, play it again.
Well, I mean, just like I said, use your creativity. You're gonna use your creativity and know, and maybe reflect a little bit and go, damn, I gotta be prepared.
Dude, that shit is.
Yeah.
Just imagine one day, just 3 hours just sitting in one spot, dude. Like, not doing nothing, dude. Like,
3 days sitting in one spot. Focus on the moon. Focus on the sun coming up.
It's all cloudy that day.
Focus on focus on the color of the dawn. Right? Focus on the things that they give you power. Because those powers that you're going to be sleeping with, you know, in isolation, live inside you. I think that's the point of it.
And like to basically, Armando, to Sundance, one has to vision quest. So like the people I sweat with, they go to Montana every year. So
Nice.
I'm ready, you know.
Yeah.
The Sundance, you know, you feast for 4 days, you're just dancing, and I don't really know the details, but like I know they pierce you one day, I guess. I don't know how long they pierce you for.
And this is not just like an open public invite where anyone could just sign up, right, Zero?
You got to be sponsored.
Absolutely.
Like somebody has to go, hey, I think you're ready for it. Let me show you. It's kind of like Sweat Lodge. You can't just go into like, hey, I heard there was a sweat here. It's like someone has to invite you to Sweat Lodge, and then you go to go.
Like Mondo, Zero, like whenever.
Yeah,
y'all welcome. Like
absolutely. Yeah, we'll do that definitely. But the Vision Quest and the Sundance are two very important ceremonies in our Lakota traditions, right? And you know, Chicanos were adopted by that tradition and given respect as if we were part of their clan and their family. Obviously, they have their own little secrets and they do it their own little way, but they give us liberty to discover and search within those realms, right? And so Vision Quest will add, yeah, it's gonna be. I can't even comment on it because I know that it's gonna be a personal journey, and that personal journey is gonna end up being something very good in your life.
It's at a point in my life where I really need it, I guess. You know, like I need direction in my life.
Yeah.
Because like changes are coming type shit, you know. So it's like, I feel like that's like really important. It came to me at this time in my life right now.
Nice. And you're going tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yo, is it me or did I come across a video of something that you were rapping? You rapped, right, Richie? Zero.
I don't remember.
The homie Richie rapped.
Yeah?
Yeah, believe it or not. I remember seeing
That
I
was
seen a few
amazing,
videos.
bro.
That was a minute though, right?
Yeah, that was a minute.
Bro, I don't know how I caught these videos, bro, but someone was sharing them or some shit, man. And I told Zero real quick, I'm like, man, you know, Richie raps.
I didn't know that.
Right.
I didn't know that till today.
That wasn't me.
That wasn't you.
Yeah, man.
It was a crew, right? Or were you a solo artist?
That was like me and my homies.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Shout out to them.
Right on. Well, Rich, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your energy, bro, and I hope you find what you're looking for in these very powerful traditions. You know, these ceremonies are very, very, and I'm glad you're at the ceremonial stage where you're finding a ceremonial family to experience these things, because obviously you have a vision of what you want to bring to the community.
And that's the thing too, where like I'm at the point in my life where like I kind of want to move out of California, but then it's like, damn, giving up that, you know, like it's like, am I gonna find that elsewhere, you know?
Right. I'm sure you're gonna get a lot of answers when you go up tomorrow.
You're not by yourself, Richie. Like, you know, I'm thinking about leaving California too real soon.
What states you thinking about?
I'm thinking about different countries, bro.
And
Just getting away from the U.S. to begin with.
that's what's up.
You know, maybe I was thinking Portugal. Portugal.
Why out there? Or like,
I heard it's ranked top 5 safest countries in the world. Right? It's next to Spain or close to Spain, close to Europe. Right? Give me one reason why you are considering leaving Cali.
just the cost of living is too much.
Absolutely.
Gas and I don't know. Like, yeah, I feel like I could go elsewhere, you know.
Absolutely.
But I got to think, where am I gonna go? You know.
Yeah.
Everybody, Arizona, you know, that sounds cool, but they're going through a drought. You know, Nevada's going through a drought. Like 20 years from now, they ain't gonna have water.
Plus,
I'm thinking about like Idaho and shit.
The times that I've been to Arizona, man, their cops are really like. If we thought our cops were fucking aggressive, those fucking cops.
I love Arizona. Like if I would have done it 10 years ago type shit, it would have been cool, you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
now everything costs a lot out there.
Oh, real?
And it's like yeah.
I don't know if it's me, but Arizona did just raise their prices just outrageous, right?
It's
Just
'cause
in
they're
the
a
last
blue
recent,
state now.
Yeah, they're a blue
state
now.
now. So it's good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tales of the Streets, you know, the homie who runs that YouTube page. He shoots a lot of his content out there in Arizona.
Graveyards are great. What's it called?
Tales from the Streets, right?
Like yeah, Telson. Yeah. And the
Man,
lizard.
Richie, you're one of the most influential cats on Instagram, period, for the indigenous community. I have to say that your clothing line is a very powerful brand, right? Zero?
Absolutely.
They gotta cancel me.
And I always look forward to what you're posting next, bro. And I'm sure I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for thousands of people out there that follow you. You know?
Thanks.
Yeah, brother. And good luck tomorrow, bro. And I
Yeah,
think you're gonna be fine, dude. I
Yeah,
think.
we think about I'll be thinking about today. Trust. Like,
Yeah. Well, I think
Like that was my whole week. Like all right.
Yo,
cool.
for
like,
anyone
I gotta
tuning
be
in-
here.
Yeah.
And I gotta go there.
Wow.
But like I haven't been eating meat and like eat meat. But like I haven't been eating meat, so I didn't feel like eating meat. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I should be eating. You know, like
Well, I think at this point, tomorrow's coming, and you
that's
got to go
it.
up there and just sit down. You made the commitment, and
that's it.
I
Like,
know
no.
that the creator is gonna put you on the right path. He always does, and every experience I've been a part of and learned from and been privileged to know, like Uncle Al, who had a big part of the Peace and Dignity run, and to know all the other elders who I've seen in the sun dances and lodges and sweat lodges, and when they went to go join these ceremonies, they were told they couldn't join because they weren't full-blooded natives, and so they kept going, and they met some elders who said, no, they are native. What are you talking about? They're just not born where you were born. They're born somewhere else. And so they were allowed to do these ceremonies, and I'm happy and honored to know you, to know your talent and your creativity, and to know that you're serious when it comes to your spiritual road and path. And that's what makes your post strong. That's what makes you strong, bro.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah. Just, keep following your path, and good luck on your vision quest. And I hope you get to find what you're looking for and bring it back to the community, in a good way. Right? And
This is what I got.
exactly.
Guys, make sure you grab your tickets. Catch.1, the $13 advance ticket. We got Dakota Bear, Zero of El Vuh. We're about to add some more names to the final flyer that's being released this Friday.
Yes.
We have a few vendors that are participating at our event. If there's one place you need to be on that Saturday night, it's going to be in LA at the Catch One, right, Zero?
Absolutely, man. And I'm surprised that, the tickets are going as fast as they're going because it's only $13, so if you're hesitating and you have to pay at the door, I mean, we're planning on that kind of a thing happening.
Absolutely.
Where,
Last year we had about almost 300 people there.
Yeah, I don't expect anything less than that. And so just don't hesitate.
And Dakota Bear, like I'm just so looking forward
He's
to
pretty fire. What do you think, Rich?
Y'all put me on here. That was pretty
He's
cool.
badass, huh?
Yeah, it's a cool flow. Like,
He's fucking badass. Dakota Bear is bad fucking ass.
yeah, it's a cool little flow. Like,
Yeah, man.
That's right.
And then his rhyming and what he rhymes about and what he's,
reminds me of like self-provoking. And like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you say
It sounds
that,
cool, 'cause it's all
well,
they
Self
do.
Provoke has a lot of style in his thing, but
He has
Dakota,
that little.
yeah,
It sounds dope and shit.
his voice. I like Dakota Bear's voice, and he's
Y'all put me on, so shout out.
yeah, man.
He has a label that I guess he founded. It's called Landback Records.
Okay. There
That's
it
dope.
is. And he has other artists on that? or is it?
I'm not sure.
Is it
I'm
just
not
him?
sure, but I'm sure he does have some artists on there.
I see. Oh, excuse me. Anyways,
And then his clothing line, Decolonial.
yes, fire.
Fire.
You should buy. When he gets
Decolonial
here,
clothing.
be prepared to buy his merch because the brother's humble, man, and he didn't ask for much, and he knew that we were a small production company that's trying to expose indigenous artistry, and as we expand, right now it's indigenous hip hop. It always will start off with that because I'm an indigenous hip hop artist, but we're open to other versions of music, right, Armando?
Absolutely, man. If you want to perform at our second annual Indigenous hip hop gathering, Custer's Last Stand at the Catch One, feel free to email us, feel free to DM us, and send us your music.
Yeah,
If it's good, we'll book you.
yeah. There you go. You heard it from the
That's
horse's
it.
mouth.
And for every person that comes to June 25th, you are automatically qualified to win a pair of tickets to go see Immortal Technique live July 22nd, 2022 at the Catch One. So
How are they going to do that?
I'm just going to put their names in a box and we're just going to raffle out some names out. Zero's going to shout out the names after his set, and we're just going to give them a pair of tickets.
What
to
about
go
for
see
this
Immortal
show?
Technique.
Like free tickets for this show or not?
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Yes, we are going to be doing free ticket
yeah.
giveaways for the LA Natives event this week on social media,
Damn.
Facebook,
Tune
Twitter,
in.
Instagram.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be a great night. It's going to be a great gathering of just like-minded individuals that want to make great hip-hop and just coincidentally raps indigenous.
Here's the thing is that when movements come together, they need certain elements to be,
When
one
the 20 families come together.
exactly like the 20 families don't do the same thing. Each family is responsible for one thing, and they're good at that one thing, right? So that's the way I feel about this movement that Armando is putting together with my help, and then with your help too, Richie. Because when you post about us and you share our things, I mean, there's a response from the community that you are a part of. So,
I let you guys. I take you guys everywhere.
nice. So yeah, we're family, bro, and June 25th is again that place where we're not gonna have judgment with each other. We're gonna go and enjoy our company and hear probably the most progressive indigenous hip hop, artistry, poetry, on behalf of our people, the original people of Turtle Island, Anáhuac, whatever you want to call it, Anishinaabe, the Tungvas,
The quiche.
the Quiche, and all the other people that make up our indigenous family.
The Mexica.
The Mexica.
The Native
Las
American.
For sure.
Las Aslan.
Well,
Anyone that
you would ask
identifies.
that like Las Aslan to me is like for lack of a better example, but like Peter Pan's Island, right? Wild fools that are just that know how to do things and and have strong opinions, right? Armando knows how to put concerts together. I know my stuff, my way around food and indigenous culture, and I'm a recording artist, so it's the perfect
like
storm.
a message.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a family that brings that message together, and you reposting our things, coming to our blog, and sharing your energy and your talent with us whenever you can. And when you can't, we don't take it personal because we know that people go on their personal journeys, and as much as we want them there every minute and every time, sometimes they have to be on their personal journeys. So good luck with your personal journey and your vision quest, and I hope you come back a stronger artist to the community of Las Taslan, to the community of Turtle Island and Anáhuac. And it's our time to really become a family and work together as best as we can to fulfill the prophecy of our great-great-grandfather Cuauhtémoc, who said that we would once recognize who we were and we would implement their wisdom in our daily life. So, thanks for coming, Rich.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Las Taslan, Las Comatli, Umeteo, Tonansi, Tonatu.